Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. This is a segment that I call Tangent Tuesday, where I take a topic and I just sort of riff on it. Today I'm going to be talking about the things that I have learned from the various martial arts I've encountered. Now, this is probably not going to be exhaustive, or else this would be a much longer video, because I've encountered a lot. So I'm going to focus on the ones that have probably impacted me the most. The one thing I learned from my karate classes coming up was to be disciplined in my focus and not get distracted by discomfort or pain. Now, I didn't have one of those super old school karate classes where, there's blood on the floor every night. That's bad training, by the way. Nobody should be proud of that. But we would hold, horse stances or forward stances for ages, do push-ups and sit-ups forever and things like that. And again, the lesson there is if I just kept pushing through these things, eventually I was going to achieve my goal, which was to be better at karate. And I did. And I liked it. I would say that probably had an impact on my life going forward ever since I was, probably a teenager was when it really sunk in, because, I stopped and started a little bit before then. The lesson from submission grappling. I had a very catch approach to submission grappling when I first got into it. Like, literally, it was me reading books and hitting the mats with people and like, all right, does this hurt? But it did carry over into, when I started getting formal training. But one of the biggest lessons I learned there is to not get stuck looking for one thing and to keep my options available. So on the mat, for instance, if I was looking for an arm lock and the guy was just resisting and resisting and resisting, but his head was right there for a choke, why am I going to keep fighting for that lock when the choke's right there? That's what I did when I had a pretty large vocabulary of submissions, but not a whole lot of experience in movement. But I do think it's a good lesson to have, and as an adult, it's definitely come into play sometimes. Unfortunately, I do tend to be a little bit, let's call it directed. Some might call it stubborn. But yeah, sometimes I have to sort of, kick myself in my own butt and go like, hold on, this is not working. We need to find another solution. What else is available to you? From Wing Chun Kung Fu, and I hadn't spent a whole lot of time in it, to be fair. I learned the first form. That's about where my skill level is, so not very high at all. But what I learned from that is that if you relax and position yourself well, you don't need to use a whole lot of strength or effort. Let's say effort. And again, that also plays into real life. If you position yourself well, things are going to go easier for you. Boxing. Oh my God, what did I learn from boxing? Because I'm much better at coaching it than actually getting involved in it. But one thing I have learned from boxing sparring is sometimes in order to get good at something, you're going to have to take some licks. I'm not going to develop good head movement without being punched in the face a few times. At the same time, with persistence, the opportunity will come. From Jeet Kune Do, simplify, simplify, simplify. What can I remove from the equation to make the job easier? What is extraneous? Yeah, that is definitely carried with me through my overall philosophy on a lot of things. Not book buying, apparently, but just generally when it comes to my approach in life, sort of removing the things that are not getting me toward my goal. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I really like BJJ for its usefulness when it comes to ground escapes, and I think one of the things that BJJ taught me is that there's always a way out of the predicament that you're in. Of course, it's helpful if you recognize it early, but I think John Danaher had a quote like, there's no lock without a key. Even if you're just being smashed and you're like, I am stuck underneath a 250-pound wrestler, there is no escape. There is an escape. There's always an escape. Keep looking, keep moving. If you stop moving, you're dead. But yeah, there's always going to be a way out if you keep working and you look hard enough. Judo. Lesson from judo is sometimes you just got to ride that wave. Yeah. Once again, I've been more on the receiving end of judo than the giving end of it. But it has been a good lesson. Again, transitioning to a lesson in life. What did judo teach me is literally going with the flow. Like, my opponent is sending me this way. Maybe I can turn the tables if I accelerate a little bit faster than them and pull them along with me. Maybe I can set them up. And again, in life, sometimes you can't fight the current. Sometimes you got to ride it and see the opportunities that present themselves. Again, I could keep going all night, but I think I'm going to cut it off right there. Those are some of them that I've been involved in the most, and some that have had lessons on the mat that have translated into real life. And if you guys have any experiences like that, please feel free to share them down in the comments. I'll see you guys around. Thank you.